Hi everyone, I am very excited to share a video with you today that is brought to you by subscriber request. Olga Line-Weber asked me to make a video on horses and I was thrilled to make that request a reality. In fact, there is so much new vocabulary relating to horses that I will make up a follow-up video which is a little bit more technical. It will focus on equipment and sports relating to horses. But for now, thank you so much Olga, and don't forget, if you have a suggestion, get in touch in the comments. Also, don't forget to check out the extensive word list in the description, along with links to other animal vocabulary videos. And you're very welcome to Learning English Pro, my English vocabulary channel. My name is Jer and I'm narrating your lesson today. Make sure to subscribe to stay updated on all my latest English vocabulary lessons. First up, we're going to take a look at some general vocabulary relating to horses. Towards the end of the video, we're going to take a really detailed look at the anatomy of a horse, so stay tuned for that. Our first term is at grass. When a horse is at grass, it means that the horse is pastured year-round and its main source of nutrition is grass. Let's move on to our next term, which is to balk. It's a verb. When a horse balks, it is refusing to cooperate or being stubborn. Another horse verb that we use is the verb to buck. This is when a horse kicks with its back legs. A horse that does this is described as a bucking horse. Our next term is blaze. This describes a wide white marking that goes down the face of the horse. Next up, we have another verb, which is the verb to break. When you break a horse, you are training it and taming a horse. You are making it so that the horse will follow commands. A horse which has been subjected to this treatment is said to be broken in. When it comes to horses, like many animals, there are lots of different types of breeds. You may have heard of breeds such as an Arabian horse, a thoroughbred, or a Clydesdale. And there are many, many more. In the United States, they use the term Bronco to describe a horse which works at a rodeo. You might often hear a Bronco referred to as a bucking bronco. Our next term relates to a female horse, a brood mare. A brood mare is a horse which is kept for breeding other horses. Let's take a moment to have a look at the different gender names of horses. A male horse is called a stallion, a female a mare, and a baby horse is called a foal. And there is terminology to be even more specific. A colt is a male under the age of 4, and a filly is a female also under the age of 4. Up next, we have one of the many sports associated with horses, dressage. Dressage is the art of riding and training a horse in a manner that develops obedience, flexibility, and balance. Our next horse term is an adjective, equine. Equine defines anything relating to or affecting horses or another member of the horse family. Another adjective we use is equestrian, and this means anything relating to horse riding. So you can have equestrian sports or equestrian equipment. A job which is related to horses is a farrier. A farrier maintains and fits horseshoes to the horse. A common tool they use, and one you can see on screen, is the hoof pick. Our next term is gait. Gait refers to a manner of walking. And when we discuss a horse's gait, we are discussing how fast a horse travels. And there are some specific words which describe a horse's speed. For its slowest speed, the horse uses the same verb as humans, to walk. For a slightly faster speed, we use the verb to trot. And for a speed which is a bit faster and a little bit like jogging for a horse, we have the term to canter. And when a horse travels at its fastest speed, we use the verb to gallop. So remember, to trot, to canter, or to gallop are specific to horses. Let's move on to our next term, which is gelding. A horse which is a gelding is one which has been neutered or castrated and is no longer to mate or breed. We have the verb to groom, which means to maintain and care for your horse. The act of doing this is known as grooming. Our next term relates to measuring a horse. A horse is measured in hands. A hand is an ancient unit of length, now standardized to about 4 inches or 10.16 centimeters. Its use primarily these days is to measure the height of a horse. A common food for horses is hay. Hay is simply dried grass. And horses usually get about 2 to 3 meals a day. Our next term is the group noun for horses. A group of horses is known as a herd or a team of horses. The person who rides a horse in a race is known as a jockey. Jockeys are usually very small in height and weight to give them the advantage of speed in the race. Our next term is a bit interesting. Horse poo is referred to as manure. When a horse's home environment gets a bit full of manure, we have a specific term for the cleaning process: mucking out. This is the removal of manure from a horse's box. This horse's box where they live is known as a stable. We use the plural form stables to describe a building which houses multiple horses. Next up, we have terminology for when you're riding your horse. The left side of the horse is known as the nearside, and the right side of the horse is known as the offside. Our next term describes the characteristic sound made by a horse: neigh. And this word can be used as a noun or a verb. Next up, we use the term paddock to describe a small enclosed area for a horse, generally where they are trained or kept for short periods. Another equestrian sport which is very popular is horse racing. And something you will see at every horse race is a saddle. A saddle is a seat fastened onto the back of a horse or other animal for riding. It is typically made of leather and raised at the front and rear. I will cover more horse equipment in the second part to this video. I will leave the link for that in the description when I have it published. Moving on, our next term is stud. A stud is a male horse which is used predominantly for breeding. Moving on, our next term is yearling, and this describes a baby horse under the age of 1. Okay, it's time to move on to our next section where we will look in detail at horse anatomy. Don't forget to check out the word list in the description below. Horses actually share a lot of anatomy vocabulary with humans. There's neck, throat, chin, mouth, nostril and eye, along with forehead and ear. And the next body parts are specific to horses or animals in general. The muzzle of the horse is the projecting part of the face containing the nose and mouth. Our next term is the poll, which is the very top of the head between the 2 ears. Moving on to the back of the horse's head, we have the mane. The mane is a growth of long hair on the back of the neck of a horse. Our next term is withers, which is the highest part on a horse's back. The height of a horse is measured to this body part. Like a human, a horse also has a shoulder. And we also share the term back. We also have the loin, which is the part of the horse's body on both sides of the spine between the lowest ribs and the hip bones. The central part of a horse's body is known as the barrel, and we also have the ribs here as well. Below this, we have the point of hip. The hip point is a pivot point between the torso of the horse and the lower 2 legs. Up next, we have the dock, which describes the top of the tail. And below the dock, we have the horse's thigh. Moving inwards towards the groin, we have the stifle. And further in, we have the flank. Lower down on the back of the hind legs, we have the hock. And moving back to the main part of the body, we have the belly and the chest. Moving along. Next up, let's take a closer look at a horse's leg. The area of the horse between the shoulder and the elbow is known as the arm. Below the elbow, we have the knee. A bone which extends down from the knee in the leg is known as the cannon. The cannon connects the knee to the fetlock joint. And the rear part of the fetlock joint is known as the pastern. Below the pastern is a circular band which goes around the entire leg. This is known as a coronet. And finally, at the bottom of the leg, we have the hoof. The hoof is a horn-like substance which protects the tip of the toe of the horse. And hoof brings us to the end of this very extensive vocabulary lesson on horses. There were lots and lots of words, so I hope you enjoyed it and were able to learn lots. Make sure to revise this video to make sure the words really stick in your mind. And if you're craving some more English vocabulary, why not head over to my YouTube channel? There you will find over 150 English lessons on a huge range of vocabulary topics. Coming up on screen are some video suggestions just for you, and there's also a link for you to subscribe. If you're looking for more English content, head over to my community tab on my channel. There you'll find additional learning content and fun English quizzes. I hope you have a fantastic day, and remember, keep learning English like a pro.